Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new Let's Play series in Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich. Today we're going to be playing as Austria and forming the Danubian Federation, which we haven't actually done before. I don't even think we've ever done the United States Greater Austria. We've actually done neither of the unification routes, I'm pretty sure. We've done status quo, and we did military occupation. We have not actually ever unified the empire. So you know what, let's do that today. So here we are. Austria starts off in a pretty good position, especially knowing eventually we'll be able to integrate all of these units into our army in the future. Like, Austria is very powerful if it's played correctly. So yeah, let's get our units ready to go for a war against Hungary, because we do need the Hungarians to revolt against us in order to actually have this work. Thinking about it, I should have set the game rules to guarantee that Hungary would revolt. But you know, if push comes to shove, we'll worry about that when we get there. Yes, you know, delete both of these lines. I've been thinking about more just using the field marshal commands instead of doing everything individually. We did it with the Turkey campaign, and it seemed like it worked pretty well for us there. So you know, why not continue that with our field marshals? Anyways, military factories go 3 on rifles to begin with. Civilian factories, we're starting at 13,725, which I think is a pretty good ratio. I'm gonna go 1 military factory in Vienna for now. 4 research slots also is actually 4 research slots for 36 is very, very nice. Go with all of our basics here. Fog of War off. No, Fog of War is definitely not off. Please turn that off. Okay, dockyards. All of you are just set to just making 1, which is completely a-okay. Throw the planes up higher on the list. I don't know why they're all the way below the Navy here. We're going to go 3 on convoys. After that, we're going to go on submarines. I do believe they've nerfed submarines, right? With the By Blood Alone DLC. Submarine spam doesn't work as efficiently as it used to, but you know what? Still going to go with it. Right now, we have no template for towed artillery, but of course, we do want to get... We want to build those regardless. And we actually don't have trucks. So let's replace... you, like, just get rid of this. Just get rid of that aircraft entirely. Let's start building some trucks here. Probably actually want to even get some trains as well. Let's take 2 off of you, and then immediately I'm going to go back on what I said. What about a medium airframe instead of a small? You know what? Let's try a medium airframe. But you actually are not a fighter. You're actually more of a bomber. I mean, close air support also can do fighter roles, so you know what? This works out just fine. Let's get that going. Resources. -15 on steel. We're going to trade with Germany, because that makes perfect sense. We're going to be aligning with them in the future. And we'll get rubber from Germany's Asia as well. The aluminum and the chromium we're not going to worry about quite... Actually, no, this is stupid, right? Why would I trade with Germany? We'll trade with Bohemia. And then we can just utilize... Like, we'll trade 1 factory with Hungary. None of our subjects actually make chromium, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's okay. Situation of Austria in 1936. Despite standing among the victors of the Weltkrieg, the war revealed the division of culture, class, and ideology within the empire ever so clearly. And the inner unrest continued on as the war ended. Kaiser Karl, following in the footsteps of the assassinated Franz Ferdinand and trying to reform the multinational Austro-Hungarian Empire into something that could survive in the 20th century, launched a series of large-scale reforms. However, his efforts were largely blocked by nobility of the Hungarian side of the empire, leading to his plans of federalization progressing only slowly and only on the Cisplacian side of the empire. However, many feel that there is hope for Austria. The last decades were hard on the empire, but the effort has started to pay off. Sicilian Austria, which I'm definitely not pronouncing right, is now a federation state. Sicilian Austria, now a federation state, has calmed down, but the same cannot be said for Transylvania. It is, however, unlikely that the Carpathian Basin will continue to remain in the Magyar hands, since Hungary's people have been gazing upon the liberties across Silesia, wishing to have such autonomy for themselves. Whether reform will be able to find its way into Hungary, only the Kaiser knows for sure. While I know for a fact that we're going to have to invade the Hungarians with the backing of Bohemia, Galicia, Lodomeria, and Illyria, I mean, they shouldn't last too long. I know the AI can definitely have some difficulties killing off Hungary, but I don't think we will face those same problems. We got the Italian Republic over here. They're not going to be in our faction for very, very long. They should end up... I think by Black Monday they leave, if I'm not mistaken. But eventually, they'll probably either join back either with us or they'll join the Reichspakt. So it's not a huge deal, one way or the other there. Do I not have a national focus? You become available in March. The election is in March as well. Can't even do the military stuff until we're actually at 10% world tension. So yeah, we want to go our way down to embrace pluralism and then do nations within a state, which requires us to be social democratic. So in the 36th election, we'll just go social democratic. And then rush our way down towards... Is it into the world? Wait, which one of these actually forms? Moves to ties, the worst is over. I think it's Hungary yields. Developing region. A lot of civilian factories, a lot of military factories in here as well. Yeah, we just need to get our way down the Hungary yields. We can probably do this pretty quickly. Because again, the war with Hungary shouldn't last that long. We're a human player. We're not the sneaky AI. We know how to fight a war. Black Monday has hit Austria. Black Monday has hit Germany, and it would not be long for its shockwaves rippled across Europe. Given its close proximity, Austria was among the first to be affected. The economy is struggling, and troubling times lie ahead. Means the election is next month. The Austrian election of 36. Since federalization began and the Austrian election are mostly reduced to the Germans being parts of the empire, two major parties have dominated Austrian politics, the CS and the SDAP. This year's election, too, are harshly fought. The SDAP and the CS are very different ideas on dealing with the ongoing crisis. The SDAP's program focuses on easing the workers' plight, with a focus on unemployment benefits and government intervention. The CS, on the other hand, follows a program of severe austerity measures. For us to get our way down to you, well, I think you just happen automatically in 37. Our economy must be ready for such undertakings, which I believe is through you. So we have to get our way down to recovering industry. Then we can open up the economic rehabilitation plan. Six military factories is pretty good. And we don't really need to worry about Protector of the Balkans too much. I mean, Albania, Greece, and Bulgaria. It would be nice, and if we're probably not going to sanction the Greeks. The reason we're not going to sanction the Greeks is because if we do that, then we can't get them to join our faction, and I think that'd be really nice. Especially since Serbia and Romania will almost certainly join Russia. I mean, Bulgaria could win theoretically, but we'll see. Withdrawal from the Italian Republic. Black money has hit the Austrian Empire hard enough that many of our companies have been forced to withdraw from the Italian Republic. Not only has our economic hold over the Italians weakened, we also cannot afford to maintain our occupation forces there. For good or ill, the Italian Republic is now effectively independent. We will have to maintain a working relationship with them, at least until we can restore our own strength. But we'll be back. Italy, don't worry, we'll be back. The opening of school and the SDAP rally. Even if the economic situation of Austria has been dire for a while, the first years after the Weltkrieg, when the CS and the SDAP still cooperated in their governance, the Austrian Empire saw widespread reforms in education and welfare. Academies for specialized workers began construction, workers' pensions were introduced, and child labor was once and for all eliminated. Vienna still is regarded as a front runner in socialist circles. Today, a new academy is opened in its 9th district of Vienna, which the SDAP sees as a major success. Many speeches of various politicians are held, Karl Renner always standing in the background. Renner has been effectively head of the party since he found the goodwill of the emperor during the Weltkrieg with the policy of Bürgerfrieden and the cooperation with the crown. So what we want to do is we want to make these social democrats as popular as possible. So we will we'll praise the SDAP. And Adler denounces the SDAP. Friedrich Adler, son of the former head of the SDAP and a radical socialist mostly known for the shooting of Graf Strucken in protest of the Weltkrieg, has announced the SDAP as the kind of socialism that is just serving the establishment. CS invites Prince Otto for a hunt. CS, the party of the petite bourgeoisie, the Catholic Church, and the conservative countryside, usually refrains from holding large public events. In Vienna, they instead focus on their efforts of smaller private meetings. One such meeting will be a form of a hunt in the Wienerwald. Prince Otto is formally invited to join the hunt. Having enjoyed an aristocratic education, the Habsburg heir is already used to such social occasions. So we want to hurt them. I mean, there's a 20% chance there's a hunting accident, which I'm pretty sure would tank the CS, but we want to just make them a little bit less popular. Right now, the SAP does have a majority, 43 to 38. So they should end up winning the election. I'm pretty sure those are like the only two events when it comes to the election. The Austrian content is pretty old at this point. So, you know, don't expect too much. Okay, we got a push in Ruthenia. And the election, the winner, the final tally is in after a far hard election campaign. We now found out the winner. And it should be the SDAP. Final counts of the election are in, and while it was a close call, the city of Vienna has made the SDAP the clear winner. Fantastic. So now we can actually do some focuses. We'll go with... Actually, before I click you, can I do any of these? Can I get in a political advisor? Stability plus 10%, political power gains pretty good. Yeah, give me the preeminent pan-European. And then we'll go for public welfare reform. It's going to put us at -9 political power, but that's fine. Not a huge deal for us. We're actually not making fighters. Yeah, don't worry about that. I mean, close air supports are basically fighters in their own way. I mean, I guess we could just throw in a small war airframe. We'll throw that right here. Also going to make sure that you have two different pictures so I don't get you confused. Yeah, so the fighters will set you to be this symbol. Even though I'm pretty sure there's like jet engines on you. Also, I didn't even save the symbol, so, you know, good work on me there. So what? Do we have any more models? Nah, we just got one. Okay, so manpower is quite low, but again, we can worry about that in the future. Get our Army Navy experience. Famine and Szechuan. Do we need to take... How many trains do we have? We have 56. Okay, so we're probably never going to need to take trains. Reorganizing the railway system, honestly, I think it's good, and like the idea is good. But it just doesn't... Like, how long does it last? 120 days. That's not... Like, it should last. Like, to me at least. It should last until 3 supply hubs have been built. Do we care about Venezuela? We can send them 1,000 guns. How many guns do we have? Negative 8,000? Okay, so this actually doesn't affect us at all. But the modifier should just be until 3 supply hubs are built. Because otherwise, you got to start building 3 supply hubs immediately. At 300% speed. Which you'll probably, like, never really be able to actually use effectively. Okay, we got public welfare reform. We'll modify Black Monday, stability off of you. Again, we have to get all these eventually, so it's not like it's a big deal in which order we get them. Influence in the Italian government. In 1919, we signed an armistice with the Kingdom of Italy, which allowed us to garrison Lombardy and Valencia until the treaty was signed. The Italians were a little pleased with this defeat and rose up in revolution against the Savoyard monarch. Soon, he and his son abdicated and were power vacuum in Italy. Our socialist rebel seemed primed to overrun the entire nation. We offered to the desperate Italians the aid of our armies in stopping the socialist advance, in exchange for joining a new Italian federation. A legitimate government that could deal with the Savoyards. Or they could deal with. The Savoyards, white Republicans, and Southern forces agreed to our terms, and our armies pushed the socialists out of Lombardy. We did concede to the Republicans that a Republican leader would be the interim head of the Federation, though the Federated Council would retain some power behind the scenes. However, when the Socialists had made moves on the southern states of the Federation in 1926, we were embroiled in the Illyrian crisis and could not promise to attack the Socialists in support. Outraged, Sardinia, the Bourbons and Naples, and even the Holy Father himself abandoned our Federation, leaving us with only Milan. Unfortunately, the Federation Council was also allowed to last in 1930, and had not been renewed since. Even worse, we recently withdrew our military from their nation due to the Black Monday crisis, leaving them far more independent than they were. Now the current Liberal government under Ivan Bonomimi has pushed forward the election in the bid for more support for the legislator. However, their victories are not a sure thing, and we have some leeway to influence the election. The 3 moderate parties that have a real chance of winning are the Liberal Democrats, currently in power, the People's Party, a conservative party who has enjoyed our support in the past, and the Italian Republicans, hostile to monarchy but also vehemently anti-ANI and anti-socialist. We give our support to one of the pro-Austrian political parties to ensure that the right one takes power in Milan. Some ministers, however, are concerned that over-involvement may influence further support for the far right and anti-Austrian Italian Nationalist Association. Well, I mean, I'm kind of fine giving them, well, who's right now? Liberal Democrats, which is the Social Liberals. So the Liberals, let me just take another look at this. You know, let's support the Liberal Democrats. I'll spend 30 political power on that. If we can get them to join our side, I would obviously be quite happy with that. Greece has seized Austrian assets. Okay, this is important. I do not want to, I don't want to sanction Greece, because I want them to hopefully join our alliance at some point in the future. Thanks to the rippling of Black Monday, Austrian investors who have a majority of shares in Greek factories and mines have closed down their business. In some cases because they're unprofitable, but in others because the investors have gone bankrupt. The Greek government has responded by seizing many of the worst cases, despite the Treaty of Salonika signed after the war stipulating that our investors have unfettered access to their economy. Many in the government are suggesting that we respond with sanctions, while others say the Greeks are simply doing what they have to in order to survive. They could, after all, have seized all investor assets if they wished, and simply some. And not simply some. Yeah, no, I want them to hopefully join our alliance. They'll probably get sanctioned by the Germans. Germany, I think, sanctions them. I'm pretty sure the German-owned industry... Did Germany sanction them? Because I'm not going to. I'm pretty sure the AI basically always does, but do not quote me on that. Okay, we'll go concentrate industry as well as radio, because we will be going to war fairly soon. Again, probably... When is this? I want to say it's about... Like April 37 is roughly when the Hungarian crisis will break out. But I think with the Austrian election, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. Thanks to everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, remember thumbs up. Not enjoy, totally thumb down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.